Alright, allow me to share my screen muna. Sige, alright. So I believe this is your, today is Tuesday. This is your second day ba for your professional education subjects, no? We already started, no, our professional education nga mga review sessions. Tapos na tayo sa general education subjects. Now, ano yung gidiscuss previously sa inyo? Teaching profession ba ang na-discuss sa inyo? Can you hear me? Madinig ako. Pwede nyo i-open ang inyong mga...
Yes, sir. Marinig, sir.
Sige. Ano yung gidiscuss na Prof. Ed subject sa inyo?
Teaching profession and child and
Teaching
adolescents.
profession. Tapos na yung teaching profession. Sige. I'll ask lang a few questions about teaching profession. When we say teaching, you are called to teach. Again, when you say you are called to teach, is it teaching as a vocation or teaching as a mission? Again, once a teacher was called or is called to teach, ano yun siya? Teaching as a mission or teaching as a vocation?
Vocation.
Teaching as a vocation. When you are called to teach, no? That is teaching as a vocation. Vocation came from the Latin word vocare, which means call. Mission came from the Latin word misso, which means to send. No, it's your mission to teach when you are sent to teach. Now, question. Anong law or anong batas yung nag-professionalize sa teacher? First, yung first law na nag-professionalize sa teaching profession. Or yung title ng batas na ito is the Decree Professionalizing Teaching. Ano yung law na yon? Very good. The PD 1006. Now, ano yung batas, no, na nag-change, nag-amend sa Republic Act 7836? Yung 7836 or RA 7836 was the law called, correct, the Republic Act 9293. That's the amendment of Republic Act 7836. Now, question. Sa Republic Act 7836, again, sa Republic Act 7836, ilang units ang required i-earn ng mga arts and science graduates para maging eligible to take the LET exam? Sa Republic Act 7836. Arts and science sa 7836. Dapat maka-earn ng 10 units. Again, sa Republic Act 7836, dapat maka-earn ng 10 units ang mga arts and science graduates para maging eligible na makatake ng LET. Ano yung mga course na yon? AB Political Science, BS Mathematics. Sila, no, hindi ba sila mga education and graduates? They would earn 10 units dapat para maging eligible. Yung mga vocational and technical courses graduates naman kailangan ng 18 units para maging eligible for LET. However, di ba gi-amend ang 7836 sa Republic Act 9293? Sa Republic Act 9293, ilang units na ang kailangan i-take ng mga arts and science graduates para maging eligible for board exam or for LET exam? Ilang units na? Parehas na sila sa technical and vocational courses graduates, 18 units. Now, may tinatawag na para teachers. Ano yung mga para teachers? Ilan yung kanilang rating sa board exam? Di ba sila yung mga hindi pumasa sa board exam? Hindi sila nakapasa, 70 so 74. No? Dapat ang kanilang average is not not more than 5 lower than the average passing rate. Ibig sabihin 70 to 74.80. Hindi 0.08 ha. 70 to 74.80. Sir, bakit 0.80? Simply because if that student or that taker of the board exam nakakuha ng 74.80, kung mayroon pa siyang isang item na nakuhang tama, so pumasa sana siya because 1 point is tantamount to 0.20. So yun lang yung range. 70 to 74.80, sila yung mga para teachers. However, sino yung binibigyan ng special permit? Again, sino yung binibigyan ng special permit to teach? Sila yung mga tao na mayroong international distinction or international recognition. For example, Manny Pacquiao for sports, Lea Salonga for music. Pwede yan sila magturo with special permit. Now, tonight, we will discuss another professional education subject, no? That is technology for teaching and learning. This will be divided into 2 parts, today and Thursday, no? Today and Thursday. First part today, second part on Thursday. Now, from the title of our discussion today, no, sa subject name pa lang, we could be able to ponder na our discussion for today is about how technology, no, could help teaching and learning, could help both the teacher and the learners. Now, this is the outline of our discussion this evening. Again, this will be the outline of our discussion. First, we will be discussing the introduction part. Next, we will be discussing the ICT policies and issues and its implications to teaching and learning, the non-digital and digital skills and tools in delivering technology-enhanced lessons, flexible learning environment. We will discuss that simply because we are now in the era that we embrace the blended learning. We will be discussing also theories and principles in the use and design of technology-driven lessons. We'll be discussing innovative technologies for assessment in teaching and learning. And lastly, we will be discussing social, ethical, and legal responsibilities in the use of technology tools and resources. Now, let me remind everybody na there are parts of the discussion na very self-explanatory, no? Tapos very taas ni siya nga topic. Pag professional education, taas gyud kaayo ang topics. So pasadahan lang to natong mga part na self-explanatory. Let's focus sa mga technical jud nga mga parts of the discussion. Now, let's continue. These are our references ha. Makita ninyo, no? Ito ay mga Lorimar books. Na-explain ko na ba sa inyo bakit Lorimar books ang ating ginagamit? Simply because ang mga author ng Lorimar books, ito si Dr. Purita Bilbao, Dr. Maria Asuncion Christine V. Diquilla, Dr. Rosano, Dr. Buholano, no, sila yung gumagawa ng mga question sa LET. Member sila ng tinatawag na PAFTE organization ng mga teachers. Member din sila ng National Board of Professional Teachers. Sila yung gumagawa ng question ng LET. Kaya Lorimar ang ating ginagamit na materials. Now let's discuss first the introduction part of this topic. We will deal with the ICT competency standards for Philippine pre-service teacher education. So we will be dealing first with ano yung mga expectation sa mga pre-service teachers, sa mga student teachers, no? In terms of their ICT skills. Ano yung mga standards na kailangan nila ma-met to be labeled as competent sa paggamit ng ICT. So the program outcomes daw for teacher education degrees in the Philippines states that every future teacher should demonstrate proficiency in the development and utilization of information and communications technology to promote quality teaching and learning process. So ibig sabihin, yung mga future teachers, mga pre-service teachers dapat proficient, dapat magaling sa pag-develop at paggamit ng mga ICT resources. Pag ICT, ano yung kabuuan yan? Information and Communications Technology. Again, ICT, Information and Communications Technology. So dapat daw magaling ang mga guro gumamit ng ICT. Bakit? No? Ito ay nakakatulong to make sure that there is quality in terms of the teaching and learning process. And these are the domains. Wait muna ha. Again, these are the domains of the competency standard for pre-service teachers in terms of their competency in using information and communications technology. First, we have domain number 1. Ano itong domain number 1? Understanding ICT and education. Meaning, no, if isa kang pre-service teacher, no, you dream of becoming a teacher, dapat you understand, na iintindihan mo na ang ICT ay nakakatulong. It supports teaching, it supports learning, and it supports to achieve educational goals. Again, dapat ang isang teacher ay naiintindihan niya na ang ICT ay nakakatulong. It supports education in general. That's domain number 1. Domain number 2, curriculum and assessment. Ibig sabihin, competent si teacher na gumamit ng ICT kapag marunong siyang gamitin ang mga ICT tools sa paggamit or sa paggawa ng kanyang mga lesson plans, pag-prepare ng kanyang mga learning activities, and ang pag-prepare ng assessment methods na kanyang ikakandak sa klase. Again, curriculum and assessment, ibig sabihin si teacher dapat magaling, marunong gumamit ng ICT tools in making his or her lesson plans, in preparing learning activities, and in ensuring, no, that the assessment methods na gagamitin ni teachers are interactive. Number 3 na domain is pedagogy. Ano to yung pedagogy? It pertains to strategies, no? Pamamaraan ni teachers. So ibig sabihin, maging competent si teacher in using ICT if mayroon siyang integration ng ICT sa kanyang strategies. Bakit pala kailangan na i-integrate yung ICT sa teaching strategies ni teacher? Simply because ang mga student ngayon in the 21st century world, no, in the contemporary world, no, would feel bored if traditional na mga assessments or traditional strategies ang ating gagamitin. So it would promote active, collaborative, and learner-centered instruction if ma-incorporate or ma-integrate ni teacher ang ICT sa kanyang mga strategies na ginagamit. Domain number 4, technology tools. Basic ang technology tools. Ibig sabihin dapat si teacher magaling gumamit ng mga technology tools. Mayroon siyang kakayahan. However, di ba, may mga teachers, especially mga old teachers, no, hindi masyadong marunong pa gumamit ng mga technology tools. That is domain number 4. Domain number 5, organization and administration. Anong gina-imply ng organization and administration na domain? Dapat pala si teacher, no, marunong siyang gumamit, ginagamit niya ang ICT sa pag-manage ng kaniyang classrooms pag-keep ng records. 'Di ba mag-compute ng grades ngayon? Ano yung ginagamit ng mga teachers? Microsoft Excel ang ginagamit ngayon, hindi na mano-mano. So that's one thing na maging competent si teacher sa paggamit ng ICT. Pag alam niya kung paano i-apply ang ICT pagdating sa recording of scores of students, no? Communication at the same time, kasi part yan ng administration to communicate with your uh, colleagues, no? Sa iyong mga teachers when you are a principal, when you are a school administrator. So gamitin mo yung ICT to communicate with them. Domain number 6, teacher professional learning. So ibig sabihin, competent si teacher sa paggamit ng ICT pag ginagamit niya ang ICT to continuously improve yung kanyang quality as a teacher. Dapat mayroong professional development. Ginagamit niya yung ICT. Ibig sabihin, ginagamit niya yung ICT to do research, at the same time to attend online seminars, online trainings. No, that's part of being competent and using ICT. Teacher professional learning. Lastly, number 7, teacher disposition. Ano itong teacher disposition? Yung pananaw mo sa paggamit ng ICT, yung perspective mo. Because teachers somehow no become pessimistic pagdating sa paggamit ng ICT. Mahimot lang tapulan ang mga bata. No, magiging tama daw ang mga bata pag gagamit tayo ng mga gadgets, mga technology. Hindi dapat ganun yung ating perception as teacher. We should have a positive outlook, positive attitude towards using ICT or technology in general. And dapat din, no, i-consider natin ang ating ethical responsibility sa paggamit ng technology ng ICT. Ano ba yung isa sa mga very common na ethical issue pag ginagamit natin yung ICT? Yung plagiarism. No, when we use information not coming from our own, no? I-cite natin yung ating mga references. That's part of teacher disposition in terms of competency sa paggamit ng ICT. Now, let's discuss this part. Ito yung PPST the Philippine Professional Standards for Teacher. Ito na ba yung ginagamit ngayon? NCBTS before, no? The National Competency-Based Teacher Standards. That is NCBTS. Ngayon, PPST na. Ano pala yung sinasabi ni PPST in terms of ICT, in terms of technology? So, ang PPST is out of the DepEd Order 42 series of 2017. Again, remember ha, pag DepEd Order number 42 series of 2017, that is Philippine Professional Standards for Teacher. So base sa PPST, dapat daw ang mga fresh graduates, no, yung mga bagong graduates ng education program, dapat mayroong skills in the positive use of ICT. So dapat alam kung papaano gamitin ng tama ang ICT to facilitate teaching and learning. Kailangan din mayroong kakayahan to use, to develop, and to select. Dapat mamili ng tama. Simply because, no, hindi ibig sabihin na if may available ka na ICT tools dyan, that would mean effective. Because i-consider mo man anong types of learners meron ka. So you have the skills to select. You also have the skills to develop at gamitin yung iba't ibang teaching learning resources including US ICT to address learning goals. So ito yung expectation sa inyo as fresh graduates, I mean sa atin. Again, ito yung expectation sa atin ha as fresh graduates. Magkaroon tayo ng skills in terms of the positive use of ICT. At hindi lang basta-basta gamit ng ICT ha. Dapat we need to become reflective kung effective ba yung ICT na ating gagamitin, no? With the kind of learners that we have. Now, aside from PPST, mayroon ding tinatawag na International Society for Technology and Education. Ano pala itong International Society for Technology and Education? Isa itong international organization for educational technology. So itong International Society for Technology and Education, no, nag-impose din siya ng standard. 'Di ba yung topic natin today is technology for teaching and learning. So it could be used by both teachers and students. So sa International Society for Technology and Teaching, no, nag-impose siya ng standard for teachers and for students. So isa-isahin natin. For teachers, expectation or it is expected na dapat si teacher marunong sa pag-operate ng technology at sa konsepto ng technology na kanyang ginagamit. Again, ano yung expectation sa teacher pagdating sa paggamit ng technology? Alam niya kung paano mag-operate. Alam niya rin yung concept of technology na kanyang ginagamit. Dapat din si teacher may alam sa paggamit ng technology in terms of planning and designing the learning environment and experiences. Ibig sabihin, gamitin ni teacher yung ICT sa paggawa ng lesson plan, sa pag-ensure, no, na yung learning experiences ng mga bata, it's the experiences that they really need to learn. Expectation din na gamitin ni teacher yung ICT, no, sa kanyang pagtuturo sa teaching, learning, and at the same time sa curriculum. Expectation yan sa teacher. Kailangan yan i-meet ni teacher para sabihin na siya ay magaling, na siya ay marunong sa paggamit ng ICT. For students, on the other hand, mayroon pa itong number 4 to number 6 for both teachers and students. Unahin muna natin ito na slide. For students, expectation din or expected din na through technology, si students maging creative and maging innovative. Through technology also, students, no, is expected to better their communication skill, no, to refine. And at the same time, expectation din sa student, no, na mag-collaborate sila using technology. And at the same time, no, it is expected sa student, dapat ma-meet ito na student na mga standard, ha, na magaling sila sa research and in terms of information fluency. For teachers, continue tayo sa number 4 to number 6 na standards for teachers. Dapat gamitin din ni teacher. Ito, no, is connected doon sa mga domains na i-discuss ko kanina. So number 4, for teacher, expected na dapat gamitin nila sa assessment and evaluation yung technology. And dapat din, no, number 5, productivity and professional practice, di ba, doon sa domain, gamitin niyo yung technology ni teacher, no, for his or her professional practice, sa kanyang continuous professional development. And at the same time, di ba, yung sa positive disposition ni teacher, pagdating sa technology, no, i-consider yung ethical, social, legal, and human issues sa paggamit ng ICT. Sa students naman, no, it is expected na through technology, ma-improve ang kanilang critical thinking, ang kanilang problem solving, and decision-making skills. And students also are expected, no, to become responsible digital citizen pagdating sa paggamit ng ICT. And yung common sa teacher and sa students, no, na standard na inimpose ng International Society for Technology and Education is technology operations and concepts. So it is expected, no, sa student and teachers na marunong gumamit ng technology. Now proceed tayo sa lesson 2. Understanding the basic concepts in ICT. So ito yung mga terminologies, no, pagdating sa ICT. I-define natin sila and i-simplify natin para mas maintindihan. Number 1 na terminology is technology. Pag sinasabi nating technology, it is both a process and a product. Again, kasi ang misconception pag technology, Yung product lang. When we see a cell phone, that's technology. Pag nakita natin yung laptop, that's technology. Pag nakakita tayo ng TV, that's technology. Yun yung ating misconception. But, i-correct natin yan sa na misconception. We need to assimilate this new information, no? Ang technology is both the process and the product. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng process and product? Process means how you apply the knowledge. Again, process how you apply the knowledge. The method how you apply the knowledge, that is process, that is still technology. Yung product mismo na nagawa mo out of the application of the knowledge, that is still technology. Example, you use scientific method, the using using the scientific method, it's the process. Technology yan sa yung paggamit mo ng scientific method. Sa paggamit mo ng scientific method, nakakreate ka, nakagawa ka ng mobile app. Ang mobile app as the product, technology din yan siya. Again, pag technology both the process and the product. And pag technology, hinumduman or tandaan, hindi lang yung mga nagangailangan ng kuryente. Share is a technology. Because yung paggawa ng technology, kailangan yan siya ng knowledge. So the application of knowledge, yung paggawa mismo ng chair, process, technology yan siya. Yung chair mismo na product, it's technology. Chair, table, technology yan sila. Papel, libro, that's technology. Again that is technology. Tanggalin sa perception natin na pag technology yung mga gadgets lang. Alright, let's proceed sa pag-define sa information and communications technology literacy. Pag ICT literacy, i-remember, dapat maging ICT literate ang person kung magaling siyang gumamit ng digital technology. Pag marunong siyang mag-access, mag-evaluate, at mag-create ng information. Again, pag information and communications technology literacy, ibig sabihin, may kakayahan ang tao to use digital technology to create and evaluate information. That is information and communications technology literacy. Magaling gumamit ng technology, magaling din maggawa, mag-evaluate ng information. That is information and communications technology literacy. Let's proceed sa mga iba pang mga terminologies. We have educational technology. Hindi malito kasi nagalabas baya sa board exam. Option si educational technology at saka si technology in education. Again, naglabas yan sa board exam educational technology and technology in education. Ano yung kaibahan nila? Pag educational technology, ito yung mga bagay na ginawa talaga na ang purpose is for education. Again, pag educational technology, mga bagay na ginawa for the purpose of education per se. For example, libro. Yung libro, ginawa for the purpose of education. Ballpen, lapis, ano pa ba? We have notebooks. Ginawa yan siya for education. That is educational technology. Technology in education, on the other hand, ito yung mga ginawa na mga bagay that would supplement, that would just simply help. For example, in a classroom, ano yung kailangan? Kailangan ng chairs, kailangan ng tables, kailangan ng electric fan para well ventilated ang classroom. It would help enhance the teaching and learning process. yung mga bagay, hindi sila ginawa solely for education. However, nakakatulong sila. That is technology in education. Yung projector, yung laptop, yung smart TV na ginagamit, technology yan sa in education. Pero notebook, books, these are educational technology. Kuha natin yung kaibahan. Now, i-differentiate natin si media literacy and digital literacy kasi ang iba baya ma-interchange nila. Pag media literacy, i-remember lang, ang focus nito yung content, yung message. Kung ang tao ay media literate, ibig sabihin, marunong siyang mag-evaluate ng information. Marunong siyang mag-identify kung fake news ba or legit ba yung information na kanyang binabasa. That is media literacy. Pag digital literacy, marunong siyang gumamit ng technological tools, ng mga digital tools, that is digital literacy. Pag i-combine mo yung dalawa, marunong gumamit ng technology, ng mga digital tools, marunong ding mag-evaluate ng information, mag-create ng information, yun na yung ICT literacy, Information and Communications Technology Literacy. Kuha natin. Pag media literacy, magaling, marunong mag-evaluate ng message ng information. Digital literacy, marunong, magaling gumamit ng mga technological tools. Pag i-combine mo yung dalawa, magaling siyang gumamit ng digital tools, magaling din siya mag-evaluate at gumawa ng contents, messages, and information, ICT literacy na yan siya. Now, mayroon tayong mga digital tools and applications. Again, mayroon tayong mga digital tools and applications. We have online and offline. Dali lang ito. Pag online, kailangan ng internet. Pag offline, hindi kailangan ng internet. O, these are, madali lang intindihin. Sige, pasadahan lang natin. Now, let's proceed sa instructional technology. Ang instructional technology, these are mga tools na ginagamit, mga strategies na ginagamit, mga processes na ginagamit to improve teaching and learning. Sir, ano yung kaibahan ng instructional technology at saka educational technology? Again, ano yung kaibahan ng educational technology at instructional technology? Pag instructional technology, ito yung mga ginagamit during discussion, during instruction. Again, pag instructional technology, very specific siya. Ginagamit during discussion, during instruction. Pag educational technology, mga bagay na ginawa for the purpose of education. Pag instructional technology, ginagamit ni teacher during discussion. PowerPoint presentation, mga online quizzes, ginagamit yan siya as assessment, mga PowerPoint presentation, videos, so on and so forth. Instructional technology yan sila. Pag educational, yung mga ginawa for the purpose of education in general. Pag instructional technology, specific. Ginagamit siya during instruction. Software, these are programs and applications na ating ginagamit. Microsoft Word, Google Chrome, Zoom na ating ginagamit, software yan siya. Pag hardware, yung mouse, no, yung keyboard, yun yung mga hardware. Again, pag software, mga applications and programs. Pag hardware, mouse, keyboard, CPU, mga hardware yan siya. Proceed tayo sa iba't iba pang mga terminologies. First, we have multimedia. Pag multimedia, ibig sabihin, nagagamit siya ng multiple forms of media. May text, may images, may audio, may video, may animation. Sir, yung video, sir, multimedia na yan siya. Pwede yan na yan siyang maging multimedia kasi may image, may audio. Multimedia. Example, no, a lesson using slide presentation with pictures, with videos, and background audio, multimedia yan siya. Internet, dali lang ito, a massive network of networks. Pag internet, ang i-remember lang, network of networks. Again, pag internet, network of networks. Pag World Wide Web, ginatawag din ito na web. It is a graphical environment on computer networks that allows you to access, view, and maintain documentations. Ang i-remember lang pag World Wide Web, graphical environment. Pag internet, network of networks. Again, network of networks, internet. Graphical environment, World Wide Web. Ito din, madali lang ito na term. Web access. Pag web access, ibig sabihin, no? Your ability to access the internet. That is web access. Ability to access the internet, web access yan sa. So, madali lang intindihin. Pag web quest, ang i-remember lang, inquiry-oriented lesson format. Quest, ibig sabihin may question, may tanong, mayroong inquiry. Web quest or web quest, inquiry-oriented lesson format. Again, pag web quest, question, tanong, inquiry, inquiry-oriented lesson format. Now, i-differentiate natin si technology tools and productivity tools. Again, i-differentiate natin si technology tools and productivity tools. Pag technology tools, ito yung maski anong digital tools na ginagamit to support task, learning, and communication. Any digital tools. Again, any. Pag productivity tools, specific technology. Again, pag technology tools, any digital tools. Computer, tablets, projectors. Pag productivity tools, specific. Again, pag technology tools, any. Pag productivity tools, specific. Now, let us define what is vlog. Diba, we have vlogging with the letter V. Ginagawa ng mga vloggers, no? Vlog means an online journal. Ibig sabihin, written words or typewritten words. Online journal. Sir, mayroon din bang vlogging? Yes, mayroon ding mga vloggers na letter B as in boy, no? Online journal na post where posted information from both teacher and students are arranged. Vlog yan siya. Online journal. Wiki or Wikipedia, dali lang i-remember. Editable website. Kaya gani, hindi trusted ang wiki or Wikipedia. Kasi kahit sino lang ang pwede mag-edit. Again, wiki or Wikipedia ha, editable yan siya na website. Hindi yan siya trusted. Flip classroom. I know familiar na kayo sa flip classroom. Yung flip classroom, reverse yan siya. It utilizes a reverse instructional delivery where teacher is required to use web resources as a homework or out-of-class activity as initial instruction of the lesson. Di ba baliktad? Ang regular na ginagawa, si teacher mag-discuss sa klase, tapos magpagawa ng assignment sa estudyante. Baliktad ang flip classroom. Before magklase si teacher, magbigay muna siya ng assignment or magbigay muna siya ng video ba na ipatingin sa mga estudyante before ito i-discuss. Yan yung flip flip classroom para si student prepared na before the discussion. That is flip classroom. Before the discussion, may activity na gibigay si teacher or mayroon na siyang gipatingin na less na video sa student na mag-study sila at their own or on their own before i-discuss sa klase. That is a flip classroom. Nauuso din ngayon ang podcast. Ang podcast, pwede sa video, pwede audio. Pero before, audio yung sikat na podcast. Audio lang, para siyang radio, pero sa internet. Audio. Pero ngayon, sikat na rin yung mga video nga podcast sa YouTube. Di ba mayroong mga podcast? If you're familiar with Direct Antoinette, no? Mayroon silang podcast na walang kwentang podcast ang title sa kanilang podcast. Si Joy Spring, mayroong podcast, no? Marami na. Sila Carmina Villaruel, with Janice de Belen, no? Mayroon silang podcast. Yung podcast pwede sa video, pwede din sa audio. So parang it is somehow a talk show. Chika-chika lang, maski anong topic. Now let's proceed sa Google Apps. Ginagamit natin itong Google Apps, no? It is a cloud-based teaching tool which is stored in the Google server and is available for students both at school and at home and in school. Google Apps. Pag vlog, ito na yung video, no? Vlogging. Vlog pwede sa Facebook, pwede sa YouTube, no? Vlog. So video na siya. Yung blog, journal, online journal, text lang, typewritten text. Hindi din pwede na hindi natin isali si Facebook. Si Facebook ang most popular social networking site used. Naglabas baya sa aming board exam? Again, si Facebook lang baya always ang ginadiscuss? Again, si Facebook lang always ginadiscuss sa mga social media. Ano yung naglabas sa aming board exam na question? Ang naglabas sa aming board exam na question is the question na. Yung question na naglabas sa aming board exam, ano daw yung most downloadable app during the pandemic? Kayo daw magsagot. Ano yung most very good TikTok? Hindi man na-discuss sa amin si TikTok. Tapos, si Facebook, always man siya ginadiscuss, most popular social networking site. So, ang gi-answer ko is Facebook. Basta most downloaded, baka maglabas yan siya sa inyong board exam. Basta most downloaded na app during the pandemic, TikTok ang sagot ha, hindi Facebook. Si Facebook sa ang most popular social networking site. Kuha natin. Now let's proceed sa Voice over Internet Protocol or VoIP. Ang Voice over Internet Protocol, it is a technology that allows voice calls using the internet instead of phone. Again, ang hinumduman lang, ang i-remember lang pag Voice over Internet Protocol, voice call using the internet, hindi na sa phone. For example, itong ginagawa natin, Zoom, Skype, yung messenger call, no? Not the regular telephone. Alright, it's already 7:24. Nakadiscuss na to more or less 1 hour. So before tayo mag-proceed sa next topic, no? Let's rest for 5 minutes. 5 minutes lang na rest ha. Then we will be back. Okay, rest muna saglit.
Ang ka dut sabon amiro pang. Tasol. Hmm.
Alright, let's continue. Tuloy tayo. So let's proceed, no? Sa lesson 3 of the first chapter of technology of teaching and learning with technology, no? Sa introduction part. Check ko muna ha if open akong audio. Alright. Okay na. The roles of technology for teaching and learning. So mayroong 3 major roles ang technology for teaching and learning. First role ni technology is tutor. A technology as a tutor or tutor. Ano pala yung role ni technology as a tutor? Technology, no, could teach on its own through program instruction. Si technology, pwede siyang maging tutor simply because pwede siyang magturo on its own through a program instruction. For example, yung mga educational app na nagbibigay ng lessons and quizzes automatically. So technology could be a tutor dahil pwede siya magturo on its own. For example, educational app. Another role ni si technology is technology as a tool. Ano yung una? As a tutor. Dahil pwede magturo si technology on its own through program instruction. Technology as a teaching tool, ibig sabihin, technology could be used, no, to assist the teacher in delivering lesson. For example, you use PowerPoint presentation. You use projector. You use smart TV during class discussion. So naka-assist, nakatulong yung technology kay teacher para ma-deliver ang lesson. Technology as a tutor, ang technology mismo ang nag-deliver ng lesson. Technology as a teaching tool, nag-assist lang, nagtulong lang, ginamit lang ang technology ni teacher, pero si teacher pa rin ang nagturo. Technology as a learning tool, ibig sabihin, ang technology pwedeng gamitin ni student to learn actively and independently. For example, yung paggamit natin ng Google Classroom during the pandemic time, no? We use Google Classroom, mag-post si teacher ng video doon, tapos studyhan, tingnan natin yung video, we'll watch the video, no? Study kung ano yung nasa video, tapos pagawain tayo ng reflection. That is technology as a learning tool. Ginagamit ng student to learn independently. Ano gani yung topic natin tonight? Technology for teaching and learning. So si technology, no, ginagamit siya ng teachers and learners. So let's start sa teachers. Ano yung tulong, no, na ginagawa ng technology sa trabaho ng mga guro? Sa mga tabang, no, sa technology sa pagpadali ng trabaho ng mga guro. Ito yung mga tulong. For example, number 1, technology provides support to the teacher as a facilitator of learning. Nag-provide daw ng support si technology kay teacher bilang facilitator of learning. Example, gumamit si teacher ng, are you familiar with Kahoot? Ang Kahoot, it is an interactive quiz app. It is an app, interactive na quiz app. Para maka-engage or ma-engage ni teacher ang students during the instruction, para interactive ang klase, gumamit si teacher ng application na Kahoot. Kaya si technology support teacher as a facilitator of learning. So by means of using the Kahoot app, naging interactive ang klase ni teacher. Natulungan si teacher na ma-facilitate ng maayos ang kaniyang klase. Number 2, technology has modernized the teaching and learning environment. Gaya ng ating ginagawa ngayon, we're using Zoom, no? Hindi na yung traditional lang na face-to-face. Technology, no, has modernized the teaching and learning process. Mayroon ng blended learning. Gagamit na ng Google Classroom. That is modernizing, no, teaching and learning by the use of technology. Number 3, si technology daw, gina-improve niya ang teaching and learning process in ways of teaching. For example, si teacher, gagamit ng video lesson, hindi lang sige-discuss si teacher, gagamit siya ng animation, gagamit siya ng mga illustrations by the use of technology, no? Para mas maintindihan ni student ang lesson, yung mga complex lessons maging easier to understand. Technology improves teaching and learning process. Proceed tayo sa number 4. Kung paano makakatulong ang technology sa trabaho ng mga guro. Number 4, technology daw opens new fields in educational research. Alam nyo ba na required ang mga teachers to do CBAR, classroom-based action research? Required ang mga teachers to do CBAR. To be specific, mga public school teachers, required yan sila na magawa ng CBAR to improve their teaching. Kaya technology would help them open new fields and educational research, no? They could use technology to analyze data, do online surveys, to study learning patterns and student performance trends. So, pwede gamitin sa technology. Instead, they will print out, di ba? They would use Google Forms na lang. Pag mag-ask sila ng response sa kanilang mga students, if mayroon silang research na gagawin. That is number 4. Number 5, technology daw adds to the competence of teachers and inculcates scientific outlook. Bakit nakaka-add ng competence sa teachers ang paggamit ng technology? Or paano nakakatulong si technology to add to the competence of teachers? Because we have webinars, mga online seminars, mga online trainings. So with the help of the technology, si teacher, hindi na kailangan umattend ng physically attend seminars and trainings because we have webinars na available with the aid of technology. Number 6, teacher supports teacher professional development, no? Teacher could participate or join online professional learning communities. So they could support teacher professional development. Tapos na tayo kay teacher. Now, paano naman nakakatulong si technology kay learners sa kanyang pag-learn? Now, first, technology support learners to learn how to learn on their own with the use of technology. Ano yung gina-learn ng students? Knowledge. And we have different types of knowledge, ha? Again, we have different types of knowledge. First, actually, 4 yan siya. Kulang yung isa. Declarative knowledge. When we say declarative, remember lang facts, no? Facts lang. It answered the question what, who, when, where. What is the center of the universe? Ano yung center yung universe? Si Sun. Who is our national hero? Si Dr. Jose Rizal. That is fact. For example, the Philippines is the capital, the Manila is the capital city of the Philippines, no? or the Philippines capital city is Manila. That is a declarative knowledge. Answering the question what? What is the capital of the Philippines? Manila. Declarative knowledge. Pag structural knowledge, it is understanding or relating one fact to another fact. Ibig sabihin, it is relating another declarative knowledge to another declarative knowledge. I-integrate or i-relate mo yung dalawang facts, yung dalawang information. For example, you know that the capital of Philippines is Manila. And you also know that Philippines is part of Southeast Asia. That is structural knowledge. Knowing that Manila is the capital of the Philippines, which is in Southeast Asia, no? That is structural knowledge. Again, structural knowledge yan siya. Next, procedural knowledge. Pag procedural, process, procedure, meaning you know how to do something. For example, you know how to do a research. You know how to solve math problems. You know how to cook adobo. That is procedural knowledge. Idagdag, we have metacognitive knowledge. Pag metacognitive knowledge, thinking about thinking. You know how you reflect on your thinking. Metacognitive knowledge. Di ba metacognition? Thinking about thinking. Now, let's continue. Ano pa yung tulong, no, ng technology sa mga estudyante? It could enhance students or learners' communication skills through social interactions with the use of technology. Again, with the use of technology, it could help enhance learners' communication skills. Ano-ano yung types of social interactions? Again, mayroong iba't ibang type of social interaction. First, one-on-one. One-on-one, ibig sabihin chat. Sir, may group chat ba ya? Yung chat na ibig sabihin yung private chat, yung PM chat. Phone conversation, face-to-face conversation, one-on-one social interaction. One-to-many, ito yung ginagawa ko, lecture. So I'm discussing, no, ako yung isa, tapos kayo yung many. Many-to-many group discussion or buzz lessons. Yung buzz lesson, grupo yung mga student, tapos they will provide their idea about a topic. And ang social interaction could be done through technology, around technology, and with the support of technology. Ano yung kaibahan? Yung social interaction done through technology, ibig sabihin, gigamit talaga yung technology para magkaroon ng social interaction. For example, email. Gigamit yung technology para makasend ako ng message through email, through WhatsApp. Yung paggamit natin ng Zoom ngayon, social interaction or nagkakaroon tayo ng social interaction through technology. Gigamit natin yung technology para magkaroon ng social interaction. Ano naman yung social interaction around technology? Around technology, ibig sabihin, pinag-uusapan ang technology. Nagkaroon ng technology, nagkaroon ng social interaction dahil pinag-uusapan ang technology. Interaction happens about or inspired by technology. For example, mayroong application na ginagamit. Tapos, may nakita kayong problem doon sa application and you discuss about that application. You discuss about that technology. That is social interaction around technology. Again, around technology, yung technology ang pinag-uusapan. through technology, nakapag-usap kayo using the technology. Yung with the support of technology naman, social interaction with the support of technology, ibig sabihin, tumulong lang yung technology para magkaroon kayo ng interaction. Hindi mismo yung technology ang pinag-uusapan, hindi mismo ginamit ang technology para magkaroon ng usapan. Example, teacher and students discuss the answers from a worksheet downloaded from an educational website. Ang pinag-uusapan ba yung educational website? Hindi. Yung pinag-uusapan yung sagot mula sa worksheet na gi-download sa educational website. So nakatulong lang si technology para napag-usapan yung ibang bagay. Hindi si technology yung pinag-uusapan. Pag si technology ang pinag-uusapan, that is social interaction around technology. Pag si technology ang ginamit para magkaroon ng interaction, that is through technology. Pag tumulong lang si technology, with this example, mayroong worksheet, gi-download from the educational sites, mayroong answers. Ang pinag-uusapan ay yung answer with the use of technology, that is with support of technology. Kuha natin yung kaibahan ha, through, around, and with support of technology. Ano pa yung tulong ng technology sa mga learners? Technology upgrades higher order thinking skills, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Sir, pero ang reality ba ya, sir, no, is that wala jud naga-improve ang higher order thinking skills sa mga bata kasi ga-copy-paste lang sila, ga-chat GPT lang sila. Dapat ba ya, ano yung ating disposition sa ICT or paggamit ng technology? Positive, ha? I-reject natin yung ganyang mga idea, no? Make sure na hindi natin yan sa maging perspective. Kasi pag nagturo na tayo, no, if perspective natin yan, no, we would not allow our students to be better with the use of technology. Kay ato naman silang gi-discriminate daan, no, na maging lazy, maging tamad. So technology could help, no, improve the skills of our students. First, critical thinking. When I say critical thinking, dali lang yung sa maintindihan. You have the ability to analyze and evaluate, no, information to come up with good decisions. That's critical thinking. Critical thinking meaning wala ka gatuo agad-agad. Hindi ka naniniwala agad-agad. You interpret, you analyze, you evaluate para kung mag-decision ka, tama, reasonable. That is critical thinking. Creativity, ma-improve din ang creativity ng mga bata using technology. When we say creativity, it's the ability to think or creative thinking. That's ability to think flexibly, fluently, originally, and elaborately. Now, isa-isahin natin. Paano ang bata nag-think flexibly? Paano ang bata nag-think fluently? Paano ang bata nag-think originally and elaborately? Pag flexibly, ang bata, ang student, could approach a problem in different ways. Ibig sabihin, pag mayroong problema, ang bata mayroong naiisip na iba't ibang paraan to solve a problem. For example, sa multiplication, di ba? Yung iba nag-ano-ano sa kamay nila, yung technique. Yung iba naman, iba yung technique that is flexible thinking. Mayroong iba't ibang approach, mayroong iba't ibang pamamaraan to solve a problem that is flexible thinking. Ang fluent thinking naman, you could produce many ideas quickly. That is fluent thinking. For example, give me countries na part ng Asia in 10 seconds. You have Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, That is fluent thinking. You could provide many ideas. Pero many methods, many ways, many perspective, flexible. Pag many ideas, fluent thinking. Original, dali ra kaayo. Madali lang yan. Original, unique. Again, original, unique. Elaborate, nag-add ka ng ideas. Again, elaborate, nag-add ka ng ideas. A student was asked by the teacher, what is culture? Sumagot yung student. Di ba yung tinanong lang, definition ng culture. Sumagot si student, culture, sir, or culture, ma'am, is a shared belief, attitudes, and culture is actually not static. It changes over time. That is elaborate thinking. Yung tinanong lang, definition ng culture. Pero nagdagdag ng idea ng yung student about culture being not static. Culture naga-change daw. That is elaborate thinking. Adding details. That is elaborate thinking. Kuha natin, flexible, many methods, many perspective, fluent thinking, many ideas, original thinking, unique, elaborate, mayroong additional information. Now, there are 7 creative strategies. Again, ito yung 7 creative strategies. Di ba creative thinking kailangan sa mga bata? But there are also 7 creative strategies. Number 1, we have substitute. Substitute. Ano ito na creative strategy? It is replacing something with an alternative to achieve the same function. For example, you use pencil instead of a pen for sketching. Same ang kanilang function pangsulat. Instead of using pencil, you use pen. Pwede din baliktad. Instead of using pen, you use pencil. Substitute. Kuha, that is substitute. Combine. You merge two unrelated things to create something new. Example, you combine a notebook and a tablet. Notebook, which is kanang notebook na ating ginagamit. A tablet, which is tablet na electronic technology, electronic gadget, to make a smart notebook that is combined. Adapt, meaning you use something in different context or purpose. Again, yung isang bagay, mayroon talaga siyang specific purpose, but you use that thing sa iba pang purpose. Example, kitchen timer. Yung kitchen timer, ginagamit yan siya sa kitchen. Mag-time ka, 20 minutes before, 20 minutes, maluto na itong ginaluto ko. That's kitchen timer. Pero gigamit mo si kitchen timer sa pag-time sa iyong classroom activities. That is adapt. Kuha natin, adapt. Number 4, modify, magnify, or minify. Another creative strategy. Ibig sabihin, you change and size. You change in shape or features to improve or alter function. Example, you enlarge a small diagram for a classroom poster. Gi-enlarge mo siya, or it's either gipaliit mo siya, that it's magnify, minify, or modify. Kuha natin ha. Dali lang yan siya, si magnify, minify. Number 5, put to another use, meaning you find new purpose for something. Example, parang recycling ba? Put to another use. Yung old ladder, ginamit mo siya as bookshelf. Yung old na hagdanan, gigawa mo siya as lagayan ng libro. That is putting something to another use. That is a creative strategy. Kuha natin. First, number 6, eliminate. Eliminate You remove, you reduce, or remove, reduce, eliminate. Dali ra kaayo, no? Ang iyang clue. Parts to simplify or improve. For example, no, you cut unnecessary steps for a classroom procedure to save time. Katong mga dili na hindi na kailangan, no? You cut it, you remove it to save time. Reverse. Reverse means turning things around or use the opposite approach. Di ba the regular thing, pag na-discussion, introduction yung una before conclusion. So yung iba, no, ginagamit nila conclusion muna before introduction. Yung iba din, di ba pag discussion, i-discuss muna yung concept before magbigay ng example. To be creative, ibigay muna yung example before yung explanation. That is reverse. Kuha natin the 7 creative strategies. Now, proceed na tayo sa chapter 2. Lesson 1. Mga different policies and issues on internet and yung mga implications ng mga policies na ito, implications ng mga issues na ito to teaching and learning. Pag sinasabi nating policy, no, or law, it is a course of action adopted by the government. Again, pag policy, it is a course of action adopted by the government. Palisiya, no? Balaod, batas. When we say ICT policies, ito yung sinusunod na roadmap, no? Pagdating sa paggamit ng ICT. Again, ito yung roadmap na ginagamit, ito yung roadmap or mga batas, no, na ginagamit na may kinalaman sa paggamit sa ICT. And pag sinasabi nating ICTs, no, we have 3 main areas. Telecommunication, broadcasting, and internet. Pag telecommunication, more on cellphone, telephone, broadcasting, yung sa television, radio, pag internet, gamit ating mga laptops, ating mga computers, even our cell phones, no? Part yan siya sa internet. Kaya our cellphone is using man internet data. Now, let us differentiate this different new ICT technologies, no? Mayroon tayong 3 major new ICT technologies. Number 1, we have information technology. Ano itong information technology? Nagagamit siya ng computer and software. Again, pag information technology ha, ang i-remember, gagamit ng computer and software. Examples are online grading system, yung Microsoft Excel, word processing, Google Classroom, part yan siya ng information technology. Gagamit ng computers at ng software. Telecommunication technologies on the other hand, no? These are tools to send information over distance. Often via telephone, pwede fax, pwede radio, pwede for TV. That is telecommunication technologies. Kuha natin. Networking technologies, on the other hand, these are technologies that connect devices for communication and data exchange. More on the computers than itong networking technologies. Example, internet, mobile networks, satellite communication. That is networking technology. In terms of policies, pagdating sa ICT, mayroong ahensya na naatasan ang gobyerno for that. That is DICT, Department of Information and Communication Technology. So sila yung gagawa ng mga guidelines, no, sa paggamit natin ng ICT. At mayroon tayong tinatawag na ICT for Education. Isa itong programa under the DICT, no, that supports all efforts of the education sector in incorporating ICT. Madali lang ito maintindihan, pasadahan lang natin. ICT and Education Master Plan, the National Framework Plan, no, Basic Education. Dali na siya maintindihan, no? Open Content and Education Initiative, it's conversion of DepEd materials. Yung DepEd materials, gawing multimedia content, maging online content yung mga DepEd materials. Ang FedNet, it is a secured, restricted platform, no, called a walled garden to provide educational teaching and learning materials. So, gina-produce ito ng ICT. Ng DICT. Bakit hindi ko ito gina-explain masyado? Hindi ito galabas sa board exam pagdating sa Prof Ed. Kasi yung galabas ba sa Prof Ed, mga situational questions ba yan, no? Pang Gen Ed man ito na mga concepts. I mean, part siya ng Prof Ed somehow, pang general education kay for remembering lang man. Situational ba yan ang Prof Ed? Equality program, no, sa DICT para mag-improve daw ng quality education. So on and so forth. So, dito tayo sa issues. Ito ding mga issues, no, ng ICT, in terms of ICT, self-explanatory ito masyado, no? Sige, later na lang. Explain ko sa inyo. I would share with you something later. Sige. Freedom of expression and censorship. Isa ito sa problema, issue, no, in terms of using ICT because somehow, i-abuse ba natin ang ating freedom of expression, no? Our rights for freedom of expression, na mayroon ba ang limitation, hindi ba absolute, no? So, dapat, we make sure, no, that we use our freedom of expression responsibly, no? Hindi natin ma-violate yung community standards. Privacy and security, issue din ito, no? Because, no, we should protect our personal information. Uso ba yung phishing? Phishing meaning it's a process wherein kunin yung mga personal data mo. No? Iso din yan siya. Privacy natin and security. Yung pagkuha ng ating mga information, gamitin yung ating identity, tapos mag-scam sila, no? Iso yan siya. Surveillance and data retention, it's monitoring online activities, no, and storing data which may affect privacy rights. Excuses. Diba si Facebook, even Google, no? Mayroon tinatawag na algorithm. Alam na nila, no, yung ating mga activities, ano yung gina-search natin na videos, ano yung gina-search natin na information. No, it could be an issue in the near future, no? Could affect our privacy. Issue din yung e-pollutants and e-waste. Ibig sabihin, yung mga environmental hazards sa ating ginagamit na electronic device. Matagal ba ma-decompose itong ating mga electronic device tapos dali lang masira, di ba? Pag masira siya, it would take so long years, no? Imagine how many gadgets na ang nasira. Tapos, matagal yan siya mag-decompose. It is also an issue in terms of ICT. Old computers and phones, it could leak harmful chemicals pag ilabay natin or itapon natin maski saan. Now, ano ang implications nito, no, sa teaching and learning? Ano yung mga implications nito? Yung mga policies and issues. First, ito yung mga iba't ibang risks, ha? First, exposure to inappropriate content. For example, online pornography, no? Extremism, yung mga violent na mga contents, no? Mga racist language. Ito yung mga risks. Paggamit natin sa ICT, may mga inappropriate contents, no? Mga online pornography. Risk yan siya. It's very self-explanatory. I know that you know these things na already. Lifestyle websites na yung mga self-harm, suicide sites, hate sites, cyberbullying, no? Receiving sexually explicit image, privacy issues, health and well-being. Simply because, no, when we tend to use our social media, no, our gadgets, sobra-sobra na, it could also affect our health and well-being, not just our physical health, even our mental health. There is a study gani no that shows the person who use Facebook in a longer hours, no, they would feel sad. Mas sad sila simply because kita man good if we post online, no, mga happy things baya ato ang gina-post. We post things that would make us so proud. So mao na ang mga available contents online, mga positive contents. Unya ikaw, sige ka watch ng mga online post sa Facebook, tapos ga-face pa jud ka og problem, you would think na better yung life ng iba kaysa sa'yo. That is why there is a study saying na the more time you spend scrolling sa Facebook, the sadder you became. I mean, the sadder you become, no? Kaya limit lang yung ating paggamit. Now, ano pa yung iba't ibang risk? Prolonged exposure to online technologies, particularly at an early age, no? Bata pa. Mayroon ng sakit sa mata simply because, no, prolong yung exposure nila sa cellphone, sa computers. Isa din yan siya sa risks, no? Addiction to gambling and gaming. O, uso yan siya ngayon. Addict sa ML, sa Dota. Tapos ngayon, mayroon pang yung mga gambling sites, 'di ba? Scatter. Yung iba nagkautang-utang na dahil diyan. That is one of the risks also theft, no? Pag-scam, fraud, phishing, viruses, trojans, mga spywares, sirain niya yung gadget mo, yung mga trojans, viruses, social pressure, isa din yan siya. Same sa sinabi ko kanina, 'di ba? Yung iba nag-post always travel sila, yung iba nag-post sa kanilang mga achievements, tapos ikaw ma-pressure ka. That is another risks. Now, ano naman yung mga minor misuse of ICT? To be specific sa students, ha? Mga minor use. Minor misuse pala. First, plagiarism. Copying information into assignment. Sige, wait muna. Excuse me. Ano yung kaibahan ni plagiarism and ni copyright infringement? Pag plagiarism, mayroon kang kasalanan sa author. Again, pag plagiarism, mayroon kang kasalanan sa author. Bakit? Mayroon kang nabasa, napakagandang statement. Gi-copy mo without citation. Hindi mo gicite kung sino yung nagsabi na author, sino yung sumulat na author. Plagiarism yan siya. Copyright infringement, mayroon kang nabasa na text, yung buong text. I-kopya mo yung buong text, tapos gi-reproduce mo yun siya, mayroon kang kasalanan sa publishing company. That is copyright infringement. Pag plagiarism, kumopya ka lang ng part, not the whole. Hindi ka nag-cite, hindi mo gicite yung author, that's plagiarism. Copyright infringement, gikopya mo yung whole, gi-reproduce mo yun sa, hindi ka nag-ask ng permission sa publishing company, that is copyright infringement. Kuha natin. Ano pa? Yung minor issue sa paggamit ng ICT. You download irrelevant materials, walang halaga na mga materials, no? As students or as teachers, we should remind our students, no, na yung mga importanteng materials lang yung i-download. Misconducts also, no? You open messenger of your classmates, you open Facebook accounts, social media accounts of your classmates, irespeto mo yun siya. Ha? Even gani mag-partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, hindi ba yan siya proper? Nakunin mo yung password ng social media account ng partner mo. Most importantly, sa classmate mo, no? Sa student mo, bawal yan siya. Misconduct. And dapat din yung mobile phone no, ng mga students naka-turned off during class period. And at the same time, unauthorized taking of pictures. Tayo din, teacher, bawal din tayo mag-take ng picture ng ating mga students without asking for consent. And even more, mag-post tayo ng picture. Sir, kahit yung celebration namin ng Christmas party, yung celebration namin ng Teacher's Day with the students, bawal yan sa i-post without consent. Legally, bawal yan sa. If mayroong mga parents na mga aryat masyado, mga arte masyado, na hindi nila gusto ipapost yung mga muka ng mga anak nila, pwede kayong ireklamo. Again ha, bawal yung unauthorized taking of pictures and even more yung i-post sa social media. Bawal yan siya. Mayroon din tayong tinatawag na e-safety. Ano, familiar na kayo dyan, no? E-safety meaning your safety in the internet world, in the online world, no? It takes care not only of your internet technologies but also your electronic communications, yung mga messages ninyo online. That's e-safety. Tuwa natin. Alright. Let's proceed to chapter 3, lesson 1. To be specific, no, lessons that has something to do with the development and use of non-digital or conventional materials. So we have mga non-digital or conventional materials. Mga instructional materials ba na ginagamit na noon pa? Pag sinasabi nating instructional materials, supplementary materials lang ito ha, that could help teacher to make his or her presentation concrete, effective, interesting, meaningful, and inspiring. Sino pala talaga yung pinaka-importante na teaching materials or teaching material? Si teacher mismo. Yung instructional materials, supplementary lang yan. So, ang pinaka-importante talaga, si teacher. Dapat magaling si teacher. Sige. Start tayo. First, instructional material, non-digital ito ha. Ibig sabihin, hindi kailangan ng internet, hindi kailangan ng gadget. First, diorama. Ang i-remember lang pag diorama, it creates, no? It portrays small scenes of creative layers of materials. And nagadepict siya og mga concept. Ano yung ginadepict niya? Historical time period, nature scene, or fictional situation. Pag diorama, historical period, fictional. Again, fictional. Diorama, historical time period, fictional. Mayroon tayong example dyan sa ating presentation. Nature table, ang i-remember, ecosystem. Ecosystem yan siya. Nature table. Again, ecosystem. It shows a picture of an ecosystem. That is nature table. Gapakita siya ng scene related to ecosystem. Nature, ecosystem. Pag diorama, historical time period, fictional. Fictional si diorama ha. Pag nature table, ecosystem. O ito, writing board. Pwede whiteboard. Pwede din chalkboard. Sir, instructional material pala si writing board. Yes, nakakatulong yan siya kay teacher during discussion, no? Magsulat si teacher. Pero karon no, hindi na kayo masyado ginagamit yung mga writing board. Kasi mayroon namang smart TV, PowerPoint presentation na lang. Bihira na lang yung mga teacher nga gasulat pa sa board. Flip chart. Ang i-remember lang pag flip chart, no? It is a large tablet or a pad of paper. Yung parang notebook ba na ma-flip. yung mga pages niya. And usually nasa tripod or nasa stand. Flip chart. It's a large tablet or pad of paper na ma-flip-flip yung kaniyang pages. Next instructional material, we have the zigzag board. Ano yung zigzag board? Ang i-remember, mayroon siyang 3 or 4 rectangular boards. Again, ano yung zigzag board? Mayroon siyang 3 to 4 rectangular boards. Oh, it's easy to be folded and carried. Zigzag board. Mayroon siyang 3 or 4 rectangular boards. Next, we have wall display. Ano itong wall display? It is a collection of many different types of items and materials put up on a wall, na asa wall. Pag wall display, asa gani, na asa wall. And it would make, no, the display more interesting and informative if different types of items ang imuhang ibutang. Wall display, sa yun lang, naa sa wall. Another pod na display, rope and pole display board. Pag wall display gani, nasa wall. Pag rope and pole, nagagamit pod sa og rope og pole. Gamit sa PC and pole. With the example, no, on our presentation. Yan yung rope and pole display. This board consists of 2 parallel horizontal poles and at the same time, no, naasay rope. Dito ginabutang ang mga pictures, images, no, mga art pieces, rope and pole display board. Now, there is a guideline to be followed on designing sa paghimo sa mga non-digital instructional materials. Again, mayroong mga guidelines na dapat gamitin to make mga conventional or non-digital instructional materials. Ano yung first guideline? Dapat mayroong unity. Ibig sabihin mayroong one idea. Unity, one idea. Remember ha, unity, one idea. Kuha natin, unity, mayroong one idea. Remember, unity, one idea. Simplicity. Oh, mayroon na, nandiyan na yung clue. Simple and easy to recall. Ibig sabihin, yung ideas at relationship ng ideas, simple lang and easy to recall. Hindi siya complex. That's the purpose of instructional materials, to make complex concepts, no, simple and easy to understand. Kaya importante ang simplicity sa paggawa ng instructional materials. Don't make it more complicated for students to understand. Kaya ganin ay instructional materials to help teachers, no, for students to easily understand complex topics. Simplicity. Legibility is also important to consider. Dapat ang text big and readable. Dapat mabasa. Legibility. Kuha.
Legibility.
Next,
Readable.
consistency. Consistency meaning same style and art style. Same with the PowerPoint presentation that I am using. Look at the design. Consistent yung design. Same yung design. Bawat slide. That is consistency. Same style. Lastly, mayroong clarity. Ibig sabihin, do not use too small na mga text. Avoid also all caps. Ibig sabihin yung big letter lahat, no? It would make the PowerPoint presentation or the instructional material karang medyo hindi siya clear. I-avoid yung all caps ha, at saka too small na size of the font or the letters. Dapat clear. Clarity is something to be considered. We have unity, simplicity, legibility, consistency, and clarity. Sige. It's already 8:22. Rest tayo for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then continue tayo. We only have mga 12 slides na lang man. Sige, rest muna for 3 minutes.
Less than 3 minutes there.
Alright, sige, continue tayo. No, we left with 12 slides na lang. So we ended with, check na ko. Yeah, ganda. We ended with this slide, no, the guidelines on how to design non-digital instructional materials. Yung nakasanayan natin, yung mga conventional na instructional materials. Unity, simplicity, legibility, consistency, and clarity. Now, lesson 2 will discuss about how to select and use ICT tools. Kanina, yung mga conventional na mga instructional materials. Ngayon naman, no, we need to have that skill on how to select and to use ICT tools that could help us, no, improve the teaching and learning process. So when we employ now appropriately these ICT tools, it would give us the potential, no, to use this, no, or the potentials of their use can have bearing on the lesson. It could, no, improve the teaching and learning process. It could enhance learners' engagement. It would make, no, the teaching and learning process something that would help students to learn better. It would be easy for the teachers, no, to transfer knowledge, to transfer information sa students. So first, na digital tool is using our mobile phone, the QR code. QR code or QR means quick response. Again, QR meaning quick response. So a QR code, it is a scannable code that links to digital content, making it easy for students and teachers to answer or to access information quickly. For example, saan sa paggamit? Ano yung gamit niya? A teacher would use or would post QR code on the board. Then the students would scan that QR code. Tapos pag-scan ni student sa QR code, na-added to ang worksheet, nang doon yung video lesson, nang doon yung online quiz. So with the use of the QR code, no, it could engage learners' engagement, most especially, no, na very fond, very inclined atong mga students karon pag abot sa technology. So you could use QR code, no, to engage learners towards your instruction, towards the teaching and learning process. However, no, disadvantageous lang ito sa if, no, the school where you are teaching, no, is